Welcome, one and all, to my play of Chrono, the Radical Dreamers edition. I don't really know the difference between Chrono or Radical Dreamers, so I guess I'll just jump right into Radical Dreamers, because that sounds pretty cool. Brought to you by Square Enix. One year older than me. Pretty. It all began with a notebook my mother handed me. She told me she found it while cleaning out the closet. This old notebook, covered with mold, was a diary that belonged to my grandfather who passed away years ago. It contained his distant memories. I wonder if you still remember how we first met, our many adventures. It all seemed like a dream. We ran like the wind during those warm summer days long ago. You were a piece of a star that fell from the sky. How romantic. I can still relive the memories of those days long past, just by closing my eyes like so and whispering your name into the desolate night. Kid. Kid. Reminds me of Chrono Trigger, but then again it'd be weird if it didn't. Kid. Hey kid! Are you ready, kid? I know you're anxious, but stay on your toes. Yeah, likewise, mate. You mess up and I'm leaving you behind. Got that, Surge? Surge? Come on, Maggle. Let's go. That bastard Lynx is gonna get what he deserves. Say your prayers. Not that it'll do you any good. So pretty. No, thank you. God damn it. The old lady's tip-off was right on the money. The counterspell on the barrier around the outer walls could have done a real number on us. Kid's plain, unadorned braid flickered back and forth across her shoulders as she walked. We picked our way through the elaborate lattice of the manor's magic shields, moving in closer and closer to Lord Link's stronghold. There were 3 of us: Kid, Maggle, Majel, and me. I guess it must have been 3 years already since I first met Kid. Back then, I was just a wandering musician traveling where my feet would take me, and wherever a few tunes would pay for a warm bed. It was the outlands in a town called Regiora when we first ran across one another, and since then she's dragged me along on a whole bunch of adventures, and misadventures too. Ah, kid. She was a thief. Not just any thief, just a few months shy of 17, and already renowned as one of the realm's greatest. What's more, she was achingly beautiful, stylish, a joy to be around, and a dab hand at campsite cooking, or so she liked to claim. The truth was a little different. Those bandits with hearts of gold you've heard about in stories, the ones who steal from the rich to give to the poor. Yeah, that wasn't kid style. She was short-tempered, prone to lying, bossy, obsessed with money, and rarely did she care to listen to a single word anyone said to her. It sounds like Nami in the early episodes. But she wasn't all bad. Probably. Maybe. Sometimes. She had her moments anyway. I glanced over my shoulders to see a shadow hovering behind us, blending into the darkness like smoke. Was it Shadow? I hope it's Shadow. Maggle, also known as Majel the Shade. I'll keep going back and forth between the two. I don't know which one's right. He was Kid's partner, but even after 3 years, I still knew hardly anything about him. All I knew was that he wanted around 30. All I knew was that he was around 30 years old. Not much of a talker, but he was one heck of a mage. I heard that he and Kid got started working together way before I met her. He always covered the top half of his face with a mask. I'd never seen what he looked like underneath. He was a man so mysterious that it sometimes seemed like he was an interloper from another world. Ooh, spoilers perhaps? It wasn't like Kid was exactly big on details about her past, but Majel might as well have not even had one. And Kid didn't seem to know much about her partner in crime either. What kind of man was he? What kind of life had he lived before? Nothing. You might ask exactly how I wound up being a part of this merry band. Well, it's complicated. I guess you could say that life doesn't always turn out the way you think it will. Boy, don't I know it. Kid, who was heading up our little raiding party, suddenly stopped dead. Look lively, boys. We've got company. No, I can do better. Look lively, boys. We've got company. I have no idea what this girl's like. Something like Rouge, something a little more like Amy, I don't know. He glanced around warily as cold, cruel eyes emerged from the darkness. Oh shit! It's the Thundercats! Dark shadow. I heard a low growl. Dark shadows prowled through the night, surrounding us. A pack of wildcats. I knew it! There must have been about 10 of them. A thrill of fear ran down my spine. I guess he's an adrenaline junkie. I can relate. Flustered, I pulled out my knife. I pulled my knife from my belt. That's usually where I have mine too. Though I guess I keep mine more in my pocket. But for the larger ones, I suppose I would have it looped around my belt. Kid calmly shifted into a fighting stance. Watch yourselves. I don't reckon these buggers. Watch yourselves. I don't reckon these buggers have been treated for rabies. No. I was trying to go for like a southern thing, but that failed so miserably. Oh my god. Maybe if I think like Sandy Cheeks. Watch yourselves. I don't reckon these buggers have been treated for rabies. Close. I'll just do the normal thing. Watch yourselves. I don't reckon these buggers have been treated for rabies. Yeah, that's a little more pleasant on the ears, isn't it? The wildcats snarled and growled as they slowly closed in on us, drawing the noose tighter and tighter. Ooh, so edgy. Their eyes glinted in the darkness like fireflies. and strings of eager spittle dripped wetly into the ground. Then one of them sent an almighty roar, soaring to the moon, and the hunt was on. What was I gonna do? Think fast. Kid driving in the pack of wildcats and gave the largest of their numbers a mighty kick in the chops. The startled beast gave a yelp as it was sent flying. I turned to my right to see that a nearby wildcat was charging towards me. It headed its head lowered menacingly. Panicked, I tried to make a last-second dodge, but I wasn't quite fast enough. Its claws scraped against my side as it rushed past me. I winced in pain for a moment, and then turned to face my foe and readied myself. Use magic, goddammit! But I didn't know any spells! How the fuck do you not know any spells? A wildcat lunged at me, its jaws agape. By pure reflex, I shielded my face with my arm. An intense pain shot through me from wrist to shoulder. I mean, he's just a bit of a pansy at that point. My cat does that all the time, and I don't have that kind of reaction. The wildcat tried to sink its fangs into me deeper, but its grip was poor. Just like the economy. I shook it off and gave a kick for good measure, sending it running back to the pack. Bravo! Behind you! Yeah, I did a good job, didn't I? Oh wait, shit, that's my name! Panicked by Kid's warning, I whirled wildly around and came face to face with a pair of eyes blazing like hellfire. I attacked. Hell yeah, I attacked! I don't like hurting pussycats, but, you know, me or you, buddy. A wildcat was coming right at me. By reflex, I ducked, its attack swiping through the air directly over my head. I felt its hot breath on my cheek as it flew by me. At the same time, I thrust my knife upward, plunging it into the beast's belly. With a horrible cry of agony, the wildcat crashed face first into the ground. But I lost my balance in the chaos and fell down in a heap as well. I rolled over and was only just able to stagger back to my feet before readying myself for the next opponent. I was breathing heavily. The handle of my knife was slick with sweat. I tightened my grip. With a kick like a bolt of lightning, Kid landed a clean hit on the flank of the nearby wildcat. It staggered before losing its footing, letting a pathetic cry. Pathetic. But Kid had already moved on to finish it off. And then, a roar of fire. A burning smell filled my nostrils, and next to me, a shrill screech pierced the air. God damn, that burned my eyes! Magil's fire spell engulfed the head of the nearby wildcat. It fled, darting off into the darkness like an arrow. One smelly arrow. I scanned the area. Only moments ago, we had been surrounded, but now there wasn't a single wildcat left. Kid, Majel, had either sent the rest off with their tails between their legs, or had put paid to them once and for all. Put paid to them once. Alright, whatever. Ha! You're dreaming if you think a pack of flea and Maggie's gonna stop us, lynx. Kid crossed her arms and flashed a triumphant grin, like any 17-year-old. Meanwhile, I, panting heavily, and it felt like my legs were about to give out from under me too, collapsed to my knees, overwhelmed by what I had just been through, and man, was a lot. Whew. I'd taken a few hits, but I was fine otherwise. Really, it was nothing, just a scratch. Not even a scratch, it's fine. I heal fast, don't worry about it. Couple of scars to talk about later. I just said I healed, goddammit, no scars. Nothing that would stop me from carrying on. Natural. I'm just that tough. Are you hurt? Magil looked down at me, his face expressionless as ever. So cool. No worries, Mag. He'll be alright, said Kid, barging in to get a better look at me. He may be a whining sook. Hey, that sounds like a slur. But it'll take more than a few scratches to kill this one. She was nothing, if not sympathetic. Is that sarcasm I hear? But she was right. This was no time to be bemoaning my lot. We hadn't even reached the manor yet. So embarrassing. I dabbled at my wounds with a tincture-soaked cloth, wrapped them with bandages, and then looked up at the other two. We're just getting started. Sorry I'm out to carry on without me. We're just getting started in here. Yeah. Alright, I grinned back, putting a brave face on things. I mean, I don't want to look like a bitch in front of them. Goddamn. I didn't even have magic, and I'm trying to hang around with these two? Ugh, embarrassing. At least have some moves. Come on, you gotta juke them wildcats. That's what I like to hear, Kid cheerily announced from close quarters. But then her eyes turned cold, like the cool glow of the moon in the night sky. It's gonna be a long night. I nodded, trying my hardest not to utterly lose myself in her pale blue eyes. This is no time to get horny. You almost got dismembered by wildcats, man. Alright, let's get this show back on the road. She turned away and marched off deeper into the trees without looking behind to see if me and Maggle were following behind her. I mean, obviously we were. Otherwise we'd lose sight of such a good view. Maggle, of course, was already right behind her. Oh, that perv. His unhurried gait making it seem as though nothing much had happened at all. And to be fair, not really. I mean, you can shoot fireballs. What's some wildcats, man, really? I jumped back up to my feet to chase after them, and be in forever more trouble I'd be in even more trouble than I'd bargained for if I got separated from them. Yeah, I mean, they're kind of carrying the team. I mean, they are the team. I'm just kind of the mascot, really. Actually, I'm not even the mascot, she is. So I'm just kind of like the Usopp of the group, huh? That's not a nice place to be. Hey, we already used this image. The dark forest inside the Manus perimeter seemed to go on forever. A labyrinth of trees and boulders. Someone get architecture in here? Too many boulders. The manor itself loomed in the distance, glowing over the vast grounds, and hidden within was a veritable mountain of treasure just waiting for us. Lord Lynx was the noble who ruled over the remote territory of Regiora. He was also Kid's mortal enemy. I thought that was Big Mom. No, wait, shit, that's Shakes. Yeah, my bad. We were there that night to steal a certain jewel he kept locked away in his most closely guarded vault, the Frozen Flame. It sounds like something so many poets have written about. The Frozen Flame was veiled in mystery. It was said to be imbued with an uncanny energy, and possessed a beauty and clarity that made it a priceless treasure. Countless thieves had tried to steal it, and not one of them had come close to succeeding. Nor had any of them escaped the manor alive. And now it was our turn to try and sneak into this place of death. Led by a girl who had the ambition to make the impossible possible, a hunger for vengeance that drove her onward, and a desire for riches that could never be satisfied. As we pressed on through the tree-filled darkness, the shadows gave way at last, revealing the true extent of the vast mansion. Finally, say your prayers, Lynx, because we're coming for you. Keeping to the overgrowth and the shadows of the trees, we made our way around the manor walls in search of a means of entry. Eventually, we came to a terrace overlooking the garden. There was no sign of any guards nearby. The only thing surrounding the manor was an uncanny stillness. This will lead us straight into the west wing, just as well. We don't have any business in the rest of the manor tonight, said Maggle, gazing up at the dark building towering over us in the night. Alright then, what are we waiting for? And with that, Kid made to the vault over to the railing of the terrace. Made to vault over the railing of the terrace. Yeah, that makes more sense. Stop, Maggle hissed sharply. Remember what we're here for. Our main target. Oh, I just realized I can make him sound like Batman. He's got a mask on after all. Remember what we're here for. Our main target is the vault and the frozen flame within it. Actually, it doesn't really sound like Batman, but I'll continue with that anyways because it's kind of fun. We focus on this above all else. Your vengeance is of the secondary concern. Agreed? Glancing over her shoulder, Kid replied with a reluctant, yeah, don't get your knickers in a twist. But if we happen to run into him, I'm gonna oh wait, fuck. I got the wrong person. But if we happen to run into him, I'm gonna knock that dongo's block off, and neither you nor anyone else is gonna stop me. I guess Kid was gonna get her way whether we liked it or not. Let's go, boys, the night is young. She cleared the railing with a springly hop and vanished inside the manor. I glanced towards Majel and nodded in silence. We followed Kid's lead and were soon inside Lord Length's lair. The darkness swallowed us whole. How kinky. The corridor stretched off to the left and right for the terrace. It seemed equally dark and chilly in both directions. Eventually enough rights. Enough lefts make a right, so yeah. We pressed on through the darkness, down corridors that turned and twisted snake-like this way and that. Everything around us was still and silent. It felt strangely like we were being watched, and as if countless eyes were staring silently from the shadow. God damn it, I didn't get to finish! We continued creeping cautiously through the corridors. Kid moved proudly and stealthily like a cat stalking its prey. All in the shadows, Magel glided swiftly and silently like a sinister breeze. We pressed on in the embrace of the Weaver Fate. We took the corridor leading from the left-hand side of the terrace, eventually arriving at the intersection with some stairs. The path to the right led down the stairs. The path to the left was a dark passage. The main corridor continued straight onwards. Like I said, enough lefts make a right. We headed down the side passage. At the end, we came to an old, immaculately polished door. Go inside, clearly. Kid gently pushed the door ajar and peeked inside the room. The next thing I knew, she slipped inside. Majel and I followed. Looks like a study. The room was lit by the moonlight coming through the long, slender windows, slanting down in pale beams to the darkness. It was pretty big for a study, with an immaculate antique desk dominating the center. There were rows of bookshelves lined with thick, dusty old tomes. The wall to the rear of the room was decorated with paintings and shelves, shelves of vases, painted plates stood before it. They all seemed to be curios from foreign lands. Shit's always hidden behind paintings. I stood in front of one of the particularly prominent paintings on the wall and examined it closely in the pale moonlight that shone through the window. It was a watercolor of a landscape that could only have come from a feverish dream. Day, night, and all the seasons of the year merged into one in a world that seemed to be melting. I thought I could make out several faces in the chaos. I mean, you just need some control for all that chaos. In the midst of madness sat a small black gem, a red flame serenely flickering within. What was this picture trying to convey? Had Lynx put it here himself? What you looking at, Bravo? Found something valuable? Kid came over to where I was standing and picked up a porcelain plate from a nearby shelf. She weighed it in her hand, seemingly appraising its value. Nice little piece, this. Yeah, must have cost enough to feed a family for a year. She paused. Not that I give a rat's ass, after all. It ain't a plate's fault some idiot spent that much on it. An almost sheepish grin flickered on her lips. We'll come back for it later. She gently put it back on the shelf. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. It wasn't a loud knock, but in the bottomless silence of the night, it may as well have been a thunderclap. Kid and I stood bolt upright and turned towards it. Majel, meanwhile, hid in the shadows, drifting away like smoke. Panicked, I whispered to Kid. Under the desk. And we hid under the desk. You what? There's no time. I shoved Kid under the desk and then darted under it with her. Ooh, cozy. It was more cramped than I thought it would be. I packed myself in best I could, but Kid and I found ourselves an awkward tangle of arms and legs. Slowly, the door opened. Flickering candlelight spread from the doorway with a warm glow. A shadowy figure appeared at the threshold. I tried to pack myself into the space under the desk just a little tighter and stilled my breath. I looked down for a moment and my heart skipped a beat. Kid's lips were right there. For a moment, everything else seemed to drift away. The pink bow of her mouth was so soft and so perfectly formed. Suddenly, my heart was beating so loud I thought my chest would burst. I tore my eyes away and squeezed them tightly shut. But it seemed that whoever it was didn't mean to come in. They simply stood there. Strange. I thought I heard something. But the lure of the manor is away, of course. Why would there be anyone in here? I have to get over my nerves. Everything was fine until we heard the news that Poor was on the move. The figure quietly closed the door, plunging the room back into darkness. The voice trailed off to a whisper. We remained motionless, keeping our ears pricked for any sign of an unwelcome return. All we heard were footsteps moving away. As I stayed hidden, listening for trouble, a thought began to cross my mind. Kid, sure does smell nice. Oi, Bravo, you gonna move your ass or what? She whispered in my ear, her breath tickling as she spoke. Sorry. I rushed to my feet in a panic, smacking my head right in the top of the desk. Fucking Christ, that's smart. Ow! Cradling my head in my hands, I crawled out from underneath. Fuck, that stings. Kid followed right after and stood up, looking down at me on the floor. Not your most heroic moment. You alright? Yeah, I'll live. She took a look around the room. No sign of that dirtbag Lynx. Lucky for him, she snorted. So Poor has made its move. Majel emerged from the shadows, contemplating the news we overheard. Kid, if the rumors are true, we might well be about to find ourselves in a very difficult situation. This seemed to set her thinking too. Poor was a powerful nation that ruled the southern continent. I heard it was a prosperous land whose recent and sudden development had pushed it far ahead of its neighbors, which made me wonder, what would its inhabitants want here, out in the sticks? They couldn't be after the frozen flame too, could they? As valuable as it might be, a jewel was just a jewel in the grand scheme of things. I couldn't imagine it being an item of national interest. I mean, ultimately, it's just a pretty rock, right? Let them do what they want. if everyone's busy playing soldiers, they won't be bothering us. Come on, we've got things to do. She headed to the door. We left the room and made our way back down the side passage. We made our way back down the dark side passage leading from the study. Eventually, we arrived back at the intersection. Some stairs led downwards. The corridor branched left and right, with the right branch leading back towards the terrace. Go down. Slowly, we crept down the staircase, descending deeper into the blackness we went. At the bottom, the path split. The way to the left continued to an atrium that reassembled at a sort of plaza, while the path to the right was a winding passageway that trailed off into darkness. Continue into the darkness. We went down the stairs and took a passage to the right. Eventually, we came across an ornate door on the right-hand side. Something smelled fresh and pleasant. Flowers? Was it coming from inside? Go inside. Holy shit! The scream pierced the darkness, turning my blood to ice! I realized that a pair of crazed, blood-red eyes was staring into depths of my soul. Oh, was it Shadow after all? Oh, fuck, it's a griffin! And it ain't Peter, either. In a panic, I tried to slip the knife from my belt. But before I could draw my weapon, the griffin had spread its powerful wings and swooped towards me with an almighty screech. I was knocked back and sent rolling across the ground. I gasped with the pain as the wind was knocked out of me. Bravo, you okay? Every nerve in my body was screaming in pain. I held back the groans and staggered to my feet. I looked to see the massive griffin in front of me. Its hellish red eyes stared down its beak. It was going to attack. What could I do?